the destruction of the old physical temple and the old physical city to experience the resurrection and ascension of the real essence of the temple and of the city, the life of God, would bring about the transformation of a heavenly temple and a heavenly city for the people of God. In a flowing allegorical word picture, John recorded this great event when he was told to measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. However, he was informed not to measure the court which is without the temple, for it is given unto the Gentiles. Then John significantly recorded that the holy city shall they tread under feet 42 months. For 3½ years the holy city with its temple of God would be under siege by the Gentile nation of Rome. The temple of God and the holy city of God, even as the Gentiles were laying siege upon them, stood clothed in sackcloth as the two witnesses who would prophesy 1,260 days. Every day of the 42 months in which the temple and the city were being trampled upon by the Gentiles, the prophesying of these two witnesses for 3½ years illustrated that God was still in control of what was happening. Ultimately, the eventual glorious descent of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the new temple of God, and the holy Jerusalem descending out of heaven from God, the new city of God, being experienced by all regardless of race, amply demonstrated that God was in control even in the midst of the excruciating labor pains of the destruction of the old temple and the old city. The city of Jerusalem with its temple for the children of Israel was the physical dwelling place of their God. For example, the Psalms, which have been called the hymn book of the temple, mention Jerusalem 17 times and Zion 32 times. The Psalms reflect the belief that God chose the city with its temple, as Psalms 46 recorded. The holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. Among the children of Israel at the time of the writing of the book of Revelation, the city of Jerusalem with its temple, as two witnesses for all the world to see, stood as the place where their God ruled the world. As long as the physical temple and the holy city were functioning as they were intended, the meeting place of God and the gathering place of the people of God, they would be protected by the God who controls all things, as amply demonstrated by the prophets in the Old Testament. These two prophesying witnesses, functioning as the voice of God for this challenging time, had the power to shut heaven that it rained not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. During the days of their prophesying, 42 months, history amply recorded the experiencing of numerous plagues, streets running with blood, and the windows of heaven being obviously shut to any spiritual inclinations. With God himself being the essence of the message of these two witnesses, there would not be any difference between them and any other prophet of God. The two witnesses prophesied of the sovereignty of the true and living God by their physical existence in the midst of the war. After their eventual destruction, which finished their prophecy in Jerusalem, the restoration of the real essence of their existence into the heavenly realm also gave evidence of the sovereignty of God. John recorded that they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, "Come up hither." John added that their enemies beheld them as they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. In a graphic word picture of two dead bodies being restored and ascending into heaven, the allegory portrays the mystery of the temple of God and the holy city of God being transformed into heavenly realities. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, declared that the metamorphosis from the old physical temple and the old physical city to the new spiritual temple and the new spiritual city would be completed. Now all nations of every generation in every century could enjoy through Jesus a right relationship with God, the new temple, and be gathered together in blessed fellowship with one another, the new city. The metamorphosis of the heavenly temple and of the heavenly city out of the old temple and the old city is the story of the book of Revelation.